A special new edition here, Wednesdays at noon, Lug Nutzz TV and the World Center of Broadcast Media, and a lot of stuff to get to today, including the big announcement. Of course, the Earth, as far as we've known it, with NASCAR, has changed. Dale Earnhardt Jr., that's right, the godfather, basically the chosen son of NASCAR, calling it quits yesterday. And some people say, in fact, I've heard a few people say this, that he's retiring at the end of this year, but some people have said he probably retired 3 years ago and just didn't know it. And that's probably a crappy thing to say. I got a couple of pictures here. In fact, I want to throw up the Dale Earnhardt Jr. picture. If we have it, I'm going to throw that beauty up right now. Dale Jr., I'm going to say this. I've worked with Dale. I've had some years where I work with him with Sharpie. I've been very fortunate to spend a little bit of time with this guy. I think that NASCAR, this might be, it without question, the biggest loss to NASCAR, even more than his father. And I'm going to say this for another reason. I mean, we're going to get into the Dale Earnhardt Jr. deal in a minute, but I'm going to set the table with what we have coming here today in the Lug Nutzz TV pits. We're going to be talking to some special folks here. In fact, I got a couple of folks calling in today to talk about not just Dale Jr., but NASCAR in general, and how the future of NASCAR may not be so bright at all anymore. And maybe NASCAR, I said this, I called it, Mark, a long time ago, that NASCAR may be back on a week delay, like they were back in the Hickory Smoke Moonshine days 25 years ago. And I called it because of one guy, Brian France. And I'll get to why the CEO of NASCAR is the biggest fraud in the history right now. And I'm going to probably not get another hard card from NASCAR. The biggest fraud in the history of CEOs and owners of any sport. Brian France, you're an embarrassment to your dad, Bill France, and Bill France Jr. I mean, it's Bill France Sr., Bill France Jr., and Brian France. That's ridiculous. My last name is Stewart, but I'm not Tony Stewart. And Brian, you shouldn't even be a France. In fact, you know what? I'm embarrassed for you right now at what you've done to NASCAR and the now Monster Energy Cup Series. But we're also going to talk some NFL football. We're going to talk some Major League Baseball and how athletes that injure themselves not doing what they're supposed to do should not be paid. There's some examples we have coming up here in baseball. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about guys right now that are out of the limelight, that are basically crooks. In fact, I think I have another picture up here, Marvin. I believe I've got a picture of a guy named Warren Sapp. If I've got that beautiful picture, please pop that beauty up right now. Some of you guys might remember Warren Sapp. Yeah, there he is right there. There he is. There's Warren right there. That's his mugshot after one of his many arrests. Okay, now let's be honest. Warren Sapp this week, and Mark, we're going to talk about this. In fact, let's just do this out of the gate right now.
All right.
You're a football player. Warren Sapp, you punk. You were arrested in Arizona after a Super Bowl for having a couple of prostitutes up to your room, okay? And then you end up cheating them out of their money, and you don't pay them the tip, and then you assault two of them in the hallway and get fired by the NFL Network. This week, Warren Sapp tweeted something. Why are we paying attention to Warren Sapp? You were fired from ESPN. You're fired from the NFL Network. And now you're going to go ahead and talk about a kid who's in the NFL draft coming up this weekend, and saying, this kid's lazy, he takes a couple of plays off. Listen, too lazy what, Warren? To troll hookers and to actually too lazy to pay the bill to a hooker and get your ass fired by the NFL Network? Warren Sapp, you were a punk and you were a tub of goo. You're a fat bastard. You're a lazy guy. And your entire career, you were an embarrassment except for 1 year when you were at Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you won a Super Bowl. You came to the Raiders. He was a sloth when he played for your team, Mark.
He just came in to just
get a paycheck.
Yeah, get a paycheck. He was worthless. You're absolutely right. I mean, what does he have to offer? I mean, what does he have to say? Who cares?
And why do we want his opinion? I mean, he's chiming in.
His opinion means nothing. He should have just paid the hookers, and then he would have been out of the limelight instead of bitching about it. He should have just got it over with, and if they were not up to his expectations.
Yeah, but like they said,
you got to pay to make them go away.
The reason that like Warren Sapp, but please, I'm not going to talk about this guy after this. We're going to talk about several guys that have screwed up their career in broadcasting too, by the way, and ruined their entire life. So stop bashing a kid that hasn't even played one down in the NFL. You know how it is. I mean, you have a son that played college football. Why bash somebody just because your career went down the tubes? And rightfully so. Warren Sapp has pissed away a career not only on the field, but he's pissed away a career in the broadcast booth. But we're going to talk about guys like Madison Bumgarner. We're going to get to that too. For you Giant fans, in fact, we're in Los Angeles. Dodger fans are loving this right now. Madison Bumgarner, when you're a Major League Baseball player and you have a career, you're making $27 million per season and change, and you go out and ride a dirt bike and rip up your shoulder, how stupid is that?
Well, I think he did it on purpose.
I don't think he did. Why? Because the team's bad this year?
And so is he. He's 0-3. He hasn't won a game this season.
Well, there is that. So,
and he's,
I don't think he did it on purpose.
No, I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose. I'm just kidding. But I mean, he's 0-3. He's not the pitcher that he was, in the past. But I
don't know about that.
You can't be on top of your game the whole time, and then it is early in the season. But
Taylor Heineke, Minnesota Vikings, kicks a window in. I mean, how stupid are athletes? He doesn't want to pay a locksmith his buddy's apartment.
Yeah, first of all, why are you doing that for your buddy and then his buddy's going to call the cops on him?
Well, he was trying to help him out because they were drunk, and that's another thing. My question to you is, should athletes be denied certain privileges like they say? That Tom Brady's he's not skydiving. He's not in a shark cage. Tom Brady is a champion quarterback. Of course, I know you hate the guy, but he's an amazing quarterback that would not...
Put a dress on him.
Yeah, put a dress on him. Okay, yeah, with all those Super Bowl rings. Yeah, that's great. That's right. How many is that? How many Super Bowl rings does that boy have? That's right, 5.
Who cares?
All right, 5 Super Bowl rings. But my point is this. When you have athletes that are being paid a lot of money by their teams. Didi Gregorius, too, the New York Yankees. You know I have no love for the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. In fact, I wouldn't pee on them if they were on fire. And they play the Red Sox tonight, and they're going to get their ass kicked. But I'm saying Didi Gregorius goes and plays in the World Baseball Classic. He's getting paid a lot of money by the Yankees. He injures his shoulder, ends up getting hurt. At what point do you say, look, if I got star players, and you got players in the National Hockey League that are playing in the Olympics, at what point do we say, listen, you're getting paid, you're professionals, you shouldn't participate anymore? What is left for amateur athletes? Not much.
No, that's for sure. And and back to the Baumgartner and that. I mean, you should, if you're getting paid that money, there's got to be a clause in your contract. I mean,
right.
You can't be sitting on the bench hurting your team because you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing in the on season. And I believe in the off season that everybody has their own time to themselves.
But if you get hurt doing something, if you got a 15-year contract, a 5-year contract, 2-year, whatever it is, shouldn't your pay stop the minute that you do something else that basically puts yourself in harm's way?
I would say during the season for sure.
But off season, no.
I mean, come on, you can't. What do you?
But then you're not healthy enough to start a season. Look, I'm going to get to this. We're going to get back. There's a brand new format here at the World Center of Broadcast Media. Big Mark in the house, of course. If you haven't noticed, Big Mark used to play some football. And, I used to do some racing. Oh, to be honest, I did one race and I sucked out loud. All right, so I did nothing, all right? But I can talk about people. We just talked about this, and when we get back, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff here, including a guy that's watching the show right now, Jeff Long, who's having a rough time, but this guy is battling ALS. He's battling Lyme disease. We're going to talk about why the Yankees should be focusing, instead of talking about all this crap they do with their $17 nachos and their $37 freaking, sushi at the park. You should be talking about the greatest player right now in the history of your franchise, not Babe Ruth, that sloth, dude, that beer-drinking troll, although me and Babe probably would have had a beer together, right? A frostification. Me and Babe. But
I don't think he would have got along with you very well.
I don't think he would have either, because you know what? He's slow and he's lazy. But when you get out of the gate, let's talk about why ALS. This is a series. You'd name a disease after a guy who's one of the most famous, prolific names in Yankee history and baseball lore, and yet you don't go out of your way to push for more research, for more awareness. We got a good buddy of ours, Jeff Long, who's sitting right now. He's battling hard for ALS and for Lyme disease, and the Yankees sit back right now and enjoy all the accolades of everything to do with Lou Gehrig, and yet you won't support research. You won't get in there and really push to get people to pay attention to what's going on with ALS and how it, from 1941, God rest his soul, after Lou Gehrig himself passed away. Why are we still talking about all these other bull crap campaigns with pink this and pink that? And I'm going to get into that too when we get back here. It's Lug Nutzz TV. Big Mark, Gordon Lug Nutzz Stewart. More next, right here on the World Center of Broadcast Media, broadcasting live from our Hollywood location, Hollywood and Vine.